All right, so there are these content creators named Earn Your Leisure, and they were extremely popular in the hip hop / black community. And basically, they're guys who came up during the pandemic. They were talking about like finances and how to build wealth and all that stuff. And their content was specifically geared towards black people, which you really don't see a whole lot of content, at least finance content, that is specifically geared toward black people. So you had a bunch of these different influencers like them, Wall Street Trapper, and like a few others who are specifically targeting that audience, and they blew up during the pandemic. Fast forward to now, their channel has pretty much died and is not doing so hot. And because their channel is not doing so hot, they are now blaming it on an influencer recession. That's what they're saying. That's their cope for their channel dying and them not figuring out how to pivot and, just keep up with the times and realize that what you were talking about in the pandemic is no longer popular here in 2024. So let's go ahead and play some of this video, and I'm going to give my honest reactions. We're going to show the truth of why they're making these comments. Here we go.
Talked about it on me and Ian talked about it on the other show, Blackout, an influencer recession. I definitely feel like it's not over.
Yeah.
But I feel like if COVID was boom time for influencers and podcasts, everybody was just content, because everybody's consuming content because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So
true.
But now everybody's back outside, and there has been.
That right there is a terrible argument because yes, people are not inside anymore. But YouTube is as popular as ever. As a matter of fact, YouTube's more popular right now, or just as popular as it was in 2020 when people were in the house and couldn't go anywhere. This whole weird thing that people had nothing to do, so they just sat at home and watched YouTube. People still watch YouTube. Like, people will literally be in their car listening to a podcast, listening to YouTube. They will literally be at home listening to YouTube. Like, nothing has changed. People didn't just randomly stop watching YouTube because the pandemic ended. They just stopped watching you. That's what really happened to Earn Your Leisure. People are still watching the biggest creators in the world. People are still watching Mr. Beast. People are still watching Logan Paul's videos, iShowSpeed, Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, whatever. Some of the biggest streamers in the world are still being watched and are just getting an insane amount of views. I'm talking about 100,000 live viewers. It's them who are no longer getting the same views that they got during the pandemic. And because of that, they're blaming it on an influencer recession, which that's just downright not true. We are not in an influencer recession. Let's continue to play the video.
I think too much content being produced, right? Because it's kind of lost its, anything that happens if it gets oversaturated, it's not the same anymore. It's a little diluted now. So
I disagree with everything you're saying. And again, I would argue that, like, if you look at my main channel, right, Echoes from Above, basically what I am is I am a YouTube commentary drama channel, whatever you want to call it. I cover drama, right? If you look at my channel and you look at all the other channels, there are literally like over 100 channels that do exactly what I do. And there's plenty of views to go around. Why? Because this is a very popular niche. Okay, this niche is extremely popular. So it doesn't matter if it's oversaturated. If your content is good, people will watch. There's literally like 4 different commentary YouTubers that I watch on a daily basis. I watch The Quartering, commentary YouTuber. I watch Pegasus, commentary YouTuber. I watch Jamari, commentary YouTuber. And I can't remember the others, but there's quite a few who every time they release a video I watch. Why? Because the content is good. What will always separate you in a market that is saturated is your content good? I would argue that the hip hop industry is saturated. There are so many different rappers making so many different music. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody's got a song. Check out my new song. Check out my new single. There's all these new female rappers. But guess what? The ones that are making the good music are the ones that continue to be on top. So I just had to touch on that point as well, because that's another thing that I disagree with. Let me go ahead and show you guys Earn Your Leisure's channel real quick. So if you look at Earn Your Leisure's channel, you can clearly see, remember, they have 1.5 million subscribers. Their channel is dead. They don't get any views anymore. Look at this, 1,000 views. That's crazy. I mean, literally, I'm not even trying to brag because, we're still growing here. We're trying to do our thing. But look at my channel and then look at theirs. I literally, on an average daily basis, get more views than Earn Your Leisure. And they have like 20x the subscribers I have, probably more than X. They got 1.5 million subscribers. Just look at this. 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 1,000 views. I mean, just look at this. Like, their channel's completely dead. And what I would say is you shouldn't be blaming that on an influencer recession, because we're not in an influencer recession. I mean, look at this article right here from Business Insider. This article was written in July of 2024. This wasn't that long ago. according to this article, influencer marketing is booming in 2024 as brands are taking creators more seriously. So you have literally influencer marketing booming for influencers because big name brands are taking content creators more seriously because they're getting so many views. But you have these guys whose channel have died are now coming out and saying, oh, we're in an influencer recession. We are not in an influencer recession. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years, since 2021 on the main channel. This year, especially the last few months, have literally been the best months financially and views-wise in my channel's history. Not only am I getting more views, I'm getting more brand deals. A lot of them I turn down because they're just absolute crap, or they try to have me promote weird products. So I'm probably not even going to do sponsorships because every time I get a sponsorship, it's always something weird. It's never something cool like a t-shirt or a coffee mug. It's always something like, yeah, promote our magical drink that's going to make you mentally better or whatever. It's going to cure your depression, like just weird stuff, literally weird stuff. But anyway, so it's funny how they're saying that, but then you have articles that are literally contradicting what they are saying. So let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Like, it's going to be a rough time for like the next probably 2 years. But then I feel like it'll pick back up. But the cream of the crop, if you could survive the drought, then you become an authority in the space. And now when everybody else is gone, there's only going to be a few that are really
Okay, so here's the other deal, too, with YouTube that I noticed, and I've talked to so many big YouTubers at this point, you wouldn't believe it. Seriously, I've talked to so many that have over 1 million subscribers, and what they all tell me is there's 2 ways to survive on YouTube, 2 ways. Number 1 is you have to pivot your content when necessary. If you notice that you're not getting views or your views are slowing down, that means that people's interest has gone down. People are no longer interested in your content. So you have to figure out why, and you have to figure out a way to make content that makes people interested. The same thing actually happened to my channel. On my channel, I was doing finance drama, and I noticed the views were going down, or the channel was just stagnant. It just got to a point where it was just stagnant. And, you know, there's 2 options. I either could have, 1, sat and got depressed and got upset and sad that my channel was no longer growing and the views were going down, or I could do option 2, do something about it. I chose to do something about it. I pivoted, and now 2024 has been the best year ever for the main channel. I think that's the mistake that Earn Your Leisure made. They just didn't pivot. They're still talking about finance and building wealth and all that, which before the pandemic, nobody cared about that. People cared about that for like 2 years during the pandemic, and then after that, people went back to not caring about that. Finance is just not a popular subject on YouTube. It just isn't. It's just not. It is what it is. Like, people just don't care about that. Also, YouTube is a young person's game. I'm not saying old people don't watch YouTube, but typically older people watch cable news, right? Like, look at my grandparents. My grandparents, I don't even know if my grandma knows what YouTube is. Seriously, I don't even know if she knows what it is. But my grandparents don't ever watch YouTube ever. They don't know anything about YouTube. They don't watch YouTube. The only thing that they watch is cable news. So my point is saying that is typically an older audience cares about finance content, and a younger audience cares about the pranks and the commentary and the drama. You just got to understand those dynamics when you get onto YouTube. So I think the biggest mistake that they made is they didn't pivot. The other thing that I want to say too about Earn Your Leisure is in regards to the other thing I want to say is what the content creators that I've spoken to told me, like the big YouTubers that I've talked to. They also told me that the other way to survive on YouTube is you have to start some sort of Patreon or some sort of private group where basically your subscribers, once you build a big following, you take advantage of that momentum and you get them to subscribe to your Patreon, pay $5, $10, $15 a month. And then it gets to a point where your YouTube views don't matter too much anymore because you're making a crap ton of money off Patreon. I mean, for crying out loud, there are several content creators I know right now that are making $50,000 a month off their Patreon. I'm not joking. They have that many people on their Patreon that they are making $50,000 a month. And honestly, that's more sustainable than a 9-to-5. Like, that is beyond sustainable. If you can keep those people happy, keep them paying that monthly fee in your Patreon, you are more than good to go. Last thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of context to what was said. Hold on, let me I don't even remember what the timestamp was. Yeah, I don't remember. Well, I'm sorry, my my web browser refreshed, so I can't even remember where I was at. But basically, they were kind of in this video. This is their actual channel where they talked about the influencer recession. This is another video where they talked about it. Unfortunately, the timestamp disappeared because it refreshed. But what happened was They were basically talking about the finance community and how, you know, the finance space has completely died. That's basically what that timestamp was going to tell you. The guy Rashad, who's in Earn Your Leisure, he was saying that the finance space has died. A lot of creators are no longer there anymore. A lot of people quit. A lot of people left. And yeah, the views in that space dried up. And it's up to you as a content creator, somebody who's running a business that is reliant on staying relevant and making content. It's up to you to realize that, hey, this content's not popping anymore. Like, people don't really care for it that much. That's just what it is. So you got to pivot. You got to find other ways to keep yourself relevant, keep the views coming in. And ultimately, YouTube is all about audience. That is the number one thing I've learned. You know, a lot of people say, oh, YouTube shadow banning me. They don't like me. The algorithm hates me. They're cheating. The number one thing you got to understand is everything on YouTube is about the audience. How long is the audience watching your videos? How often are they clicking on your videos? Are they liking the videos? That is the number one most important thing. If you see people liking, commenting, viewing your videos more, watching longer, you are doing something right. If people are watching your videos less, they're not clicking on it as much, they're not really liking the videos as much, your views start to go down. That is literally the game of YouTube. You have to make your audience happy. You work for the audience. That's just how it goes. Okay. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I love talking about YouTube and different things like that. I just think that Earn Your Leisure is dead wrong about this influencer recession. There is no influencer recession. Sure, the ad revenue has slowed down a little bit on YouTube, but there's a wider reason of why that is. But besides that, besides the ad revenue like slowing down a little bit, what I mean by that is creators are making less money per 1,000 views than they used to. Like, for example, if your RPM used to be $10, maybe it's like $7 or $8 now, which isn't that huge of a deal. Like, your revenue's not dropping that much, especially considering the fact that most creators rely on sponsorships for most of their revenue anyway, or Patreon. So yeah, anyway, that's today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.